trust, resolve, intimacy. 3 things that we can use to build bridges. Unfortunately, humans have this great ability to burn bridges. Now, a young man in 2004 destroyed the most precious relationship to him. Why? It was all due to his self-sabotaging feelings, thoughts, and actions. His saving grace was the book called The Art of Happiness. Now, when you read this book, when you open it, the first thing it talks about is the ultimate goal for any individual, any human being, is happiness, that joy. And as you read through that book, it talks about the sweetest emotion that a human can give to themselves and to others is love. And although these things are great, but the core message in that book is the miracle of compassion. How the miracle of compassion allows you to have that sweetest emotion called love, and this allows you to have happiness. Now, when we look around in the animal kingdom, for example, the mighty elephant shows compassion. How does it do that? When an elephant dies, all the other elephants gather together and mourn over the death of that elephant. In fact, what's been discovered is they also visit the bones of this departed elephant. Something which we see in humans. We mourn over our loved ones, and we visit the shrines or the graves to pay our respect. You've got the lovely dog, and my family used to have a dog called Dodgy. It's a dodgy name, but we loved that name. And the beauty about this dog was, whenever I felt low, it would come to me and it would pat me and it would do its best to make me feel better. That was compassion. The thing which we used to say about Dodgy was, I wish only that he could talk. In fact, there've been experiments done on rats, and they've discovered rats have compassion for each other. Now, that's very surprising, especially when they're viewed as vermins. Yet they show compassion. Some people have dubbed these rats as compassionate rodents. In fact, when we look through history, you've got people around the globe, I'm talking from one end to the other end, who do their work or did their work through compassion. Dr. Martin Luther King, Nelson Mandela, Dalai Lama, all through compassion. That's what they have been doing all their lives. And it's strange that even though we see so many examples of compassion, we are still not compassionate enough. Why? Why is that case? Now, for some reason, we have this apathy towards compassion. We distance ourselves from compassion, thinking it's weak, it's wimpish, and it's all about pity. The reason being for some people or many people is because when you lift the mask, you discover there's a lot of bitterness. Bitterness because of problems, suffering, issues which have happened in their life, in their relationship, or in their work or business. So they feel this compassion is simply soft and goo-gaggy. They cannot associate to it. When we look around the world, we see compassion with certain figures, and I'm sure there are people in your family you will see who have this compassion as well. Now, what happens is why do we have this conflict of compassion? The simple reason is because the brain and the heart are not integrated. Unfortunately, our education system, the way we've been brought up, in fact, what we see around us, there's a lot of focus on the left brains. There's nothing wrong with it. It's absolutely great. The brain is an amazing, amazing instrument. And it allows you that logic, that reasoning, that creativity, that innovation. But we forget about the heart. And if you were to look yourself into your life, you will see, yes, I want to do something. I want to achieve something. The brain does all the calculation, the data analysis. But it's that heart which takes you ahead. The passion comes from here, not from there. And yet we stay away from compassion. So what I would like to do with all of you is a very simple exercise. It's in 3 parts. And it simply involves you to move into this state of compassion. It's just helping you move into that state of compassion. So here's the first thing I would request you to do. The first thing which I'm going to request you to do is just look around the room and smile at someone you are not aware of. Just look around the room and just smile. Give them that genuine smile. You can look at the back as well, not just at me. So you can look back, left, right, side, and just give that gentle smile. Great. Here's the next thing which I would request you to do. And the next thing is I would like you to take your hands and put them together like this and just rest them wherever you feel. Okay, great. And I would like you to focus between that gap in your hands. So just focus in there and close your eyes, please. And just breathe. Just breathe. Awesome. Okay, you can open your eyes gently. And now, in your own mind, I would like you to say thank you for all that you've received in life, all that you're receiving in life, all that you will receive in life. Just be grateful for that. Now, when we look at compassion, it needs to be clarified what it's all about. Now, compassion goes beyond sympathy. Sympathy is about wallowing in your sorrows or someone else's sorrows. Doesn't really help anyone. There's a time and place for it, but when we stay in it too much, it's not helpful. On the other hand, you've got empathy. It's great. It's wonderful. It's a shift from sympathy to empathy. You understand what's going on, but that's just solace. It's not the solution. And this is where compassion comes in. Compassion allows you to find a solution. It is kindness. It is warmth. It takes you towards a solution, not solace. We are all looking for solutions in life in one way or the other, be it in our lives, be it in our relationships, or be it in our business or work. So when we look at compassion, people often say to me, hey, Rohit, this is a bit wishy-washy. It does not make sense to us. And they always say to me, where's the evidence? Where's the scientific evidence? And for me, honestly, I know compassion is the foundation of all of us. It's something which allows us to build those bridges. It allows us to have that trust, that resolve, that intimacy. Now, for your sake, I discovered through the years people who actually talk about compassion from a scientific perspective or have gone deep into it. And one of those people was Charles Darwin. Charles Darwin is very well known for survival of the fittest. But when Dr. Keltner, he was doing his research for his book, he discovered Charles Darwin was all about compassion, kindness, and warmth, which we are not taught in our education. We do not see things written about it. We have to discover ourselves. That's Charles Darwin, the father of evolution, telling us compassion is the key. Let's forget about Charles Darwin for a minute. Just forget about him. And let's look at something else. You've got Stanford Medicine. That's a massive institute. They have their own research center for compassion. They have spent time, money, effort into research of compassion. Wow. And still, we as individuals, as a society, as a community, as business leaders, ignore compassion. In fact, if you go further, you have these two wonderful individuals, Andrew B. Newberg, and then you have Mark Robert Waltman. They have this book called Words Can Change Your Brain. And when you read the synopsis of the book, it says compassionate communication. Not effective communication, not business communication, not relationship communication. It says compassionate communication. Another example from the scientific world, how compassion is the foundation for us. Let's go back to that one individual which I spoke in the beginning, who actually destroyed his precious relationship. Now, he had an option to go for the path of bitterness, like many do, or take the path of compassion. He decided to take the path of compassion. And when he took that path of compassion, he learned many things, and he still keeps on learning numerous things. And there's 3 things which he taught me. And the first is, when you are in that state of compassion, you open the gates to Soshin. What is Soshin? Soshin is a Japanese word meaning a beginner's mind. No matter what you do in life, be it your relationship, work, or business, look at it from a perspective of a beginner. No matter what experience you have, no matter if you're an expert in the field, always look at it from a beginner's mind. In simple words, it's telling you, even a fool can teach you something. The second thing which this individual has taught me is you start blossoming in many different ways. And instead of focusing on what they call, what do I want in life? You know, people talk about this. I see a lot of motivational, inspirational speakers, trainers, coaches talk about what do you want in life? Wants are never ending. They're never ending. They're desires which are never ending. That's humans. But when you go into a state of compassion, you shift your focus to what is important to me in my life. So you start focusing on what is important to me in my life, and you see a change in yourself where you actually move towards what is my purpose in life, which many people speak about. And finally, the third thing which this individual has taught me is it's very easy to throw something which is broken. Very easy just to throw it away. But how about fixing it? Just like a vase, when you fix it up, when you break it and you fix it up, and you fix it with gold and silver. So when you're broke, when you're suffering, when you're in pain, be it for your life, your relationships, or your business, how about applying that gold and silver called compassion to yourself? And you will see you will be much more beautiful, bolder, and stronger. So when you look at compassion, it allows you to have trust, it allows you to resolve, and it allows you to have intimacy. This is what allows us to build bridges. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you.